Good morning, students. Welcome to today's lecture. So, in our last lecture, we had started with unit number 6, dimensional analysis and similitude. Okay, so we had seen dimensions. Okay, we had seen the physical quantities are classified into two types: fundamental or primary quantities and derived or secondary quantities. So, primary quantities are the quantities which does not depend on any other quantities for their existence. Okay, so there are four primary quantities, that is mass, length, time and temperature. Okay, but as far as liquid is concerned, there are only three, that is mass, length and time. After that, the secondary quantities or derived quantities are the quantities which depends on fundamental quantities for their existence. Okay, so we had seen the example, all these example: area, volume, okay, angular velocity, acceleration, discharge, all these are velocity. Okay, all these are uh, secondary or derived quantities. After that, the mathematical representation of secondary quantities in terms of primary quantities. Okay, that means the uh, mathematical representation of velocity in terms of mass, length, and time, or the mathematical representation of shear stress in terms of mass, length, and time. So it is called as dimension. Okay. Then we had seen dimensional homogeneity. So if the dimension of left side of an equation is equal to right side of an equation, okay, then in that case you can say the given equation is dimensionally homogeneous. Okay, so कभी भी dimensional homogeneity check करने हैं तो आपको left side के dimension और right side के dimension निकालने हैं. Okay, and if they are same, so you can say the given equation is dimensionally homogeneous. After that, we had seen Buckingham pi theorem. So this Buckingham pi theorem states if there are n variable, okay, if there are n independent variable, and out of this n independent if there are n variable, and out of that there are n fundamental fundamental dimensions, that is ml and t. Okay, then the variable can be arranged into n minus m number of dimensionless terms called as pi terms. Okay, so इसका प्रोसीजर हमने लास्ट लेक्चर में डिटेल में देखा था. Okay, that means suppose there is any dependent property x1. So this dependent property x1 is depending on other properties, for example x2, x3 and so on till xn. So we can write mathematically as x1 is a function of x2, x3, x4 and so on till xn. Okay, or we can rewrite this any dimensionless function of x1, x2, x3 and so on that equals to 0. Okay, so we can replace them by pi n minus m terms. So we can say function of pi 1, pi 2 and so on till pi n minus m equals to 0. Okay, ये हमने लास्ट लेक्चर में देखा था. Then how to write the pi terms. So pi terms में repeating variable लेने आपको 3 repeating variable रहेंगे, and चौथा जो variable लेना है वो कोई भी remaining property में से एक select करना है. Okay, so if there are pi terms and m number of repeating variable, then there exist m plus m number of variables in each pi term. Okay, so ये last हमने lecture में problem के through देखा था ये step. Okay, after that repeating variable. So repeating variable के लिए कुछ rules हैं. Okay, so जो first repeating variable रहना चाहिए, it should indicate the geometry. Okay, so it should specify the length, diameter, height, area, volume. Okay, out of this 5-6 properties you are supposed to select any one property. Then next repeating variable is second repeating variable. It should indicate the flow property, for example velocity and acceleration. Okay, or angular velocity or angular acceleration. Then the third repeating variable, it should indicate fluid property. Okay, such as viscosity, mass density, angular velocity and so on. Okay, so in this way you can select the 3 repeating variable out of the given variables given. Okay, then we had seen in last lecture Buckingham pi theorem. We had taken one problem and applied the Buckingham pi theorem. Okay, we had seen 2 problems. Okay, so we'll see this problem. I think answer तो सबको पता चल गया है. a1 कितना है, d to the power 5, b1 is 2 and c1 is 1. Similarly जो हमारा a2 आने वाला है, that is a2 equals to 2, b2 equals to 1 and c1 equals to 1. So we'll see whether the same answer comes or not. Okay, so in the given problem we can say torque is a function of diameter into speed into mass density into mu. Okay, so it is a function of d and mu and rho. Or we can say the dimension this function f1 of t, d and mu and rho equals to 0. So here how many number of variables are there? 5. Okay, and how many repeating variables? Repeating variables are always 3. Okay, therefore the total number of pi terms which exist is n minus m. So 5 minus 3, 2 pi terms are present. Okay, after that write down the dimension. So remember dimension of torque. Okay, so torque is nothing but force into distance. Okay, so अभी हमने derive किया था force का m1 l1 t minus 2 into radius का l1 रहेगा. So it is m1 l2 t minus 2. Diameter is nothing but l1. Okay, n का यूनिट क्या होता है? rpm और rps. Okay, revolutions per minute. So per minute इसका यूनिट होता है. Okay, so it is only m0 l0 t minus 1. Then into mu is absolute viscosity. इसका already हमने first unit में derive किया है. Dimension it is m1 l minus 1 t minus 1 and rho is kg per meter cube. So m1 l minus 3. Okay, so we can write down the dimensions. After that there are two number of pi terms. So the given equation can be f1, any function of f1 of pi1 comma pi2 equals to 0. Okay, now here in each term there should be m plus 1. That means 3 plus 1, 4 number of variables, and out of that 3 will be repeating variable. तो repeating variable हमें कौन से चूज करने हैं? एक तो diameter d चूज करेंगे. Okay, ये आपको ज्योमेट्री डिफाइन करता है. देन सेकंड उसका काइनेमेटिक फ्लो प्रॉपर्टी डिफाइन करना चाहिए. सो फ्लो प्रॉपर्टी कौन सा डिफाइन करता है? n. एंड थर्ड इज फ्लूइड प्रॉपर्टी. सो थर्ड फ्लूइड प्रॉपर्टी में हमारे पास दो ऑप्शन है, म्यू एंड रो, बट यहाँ पे रो रिपीट हो रहा है, सो हम मास डेंसिटी रो सिलेक्ट करेंगे. ओके, सो choosing d, n and rho as repeating variable, therefore the pi terms are pi1 equals to d to the power m a1 n to the power b1 rho to the power c1 into t, and pi2 will be d to the power a2 n to the power b2 rho to the power c2 into remaining variable is mu. Okay, then first of all we will find out pi1. So we know pi1 equals to d to the power a1 n to the power b1 rho to the power c1 into t. So writing the dimension of both left side and right side. So dimension of left side will be m0 l0 p0. Dimension of right side will be d to the power a1, so it will be l to the power a1. Then dimension of n is t to the power minus 1, so it is t to the power minus 1 to the power b1. Then rho to the power c1, so rho to the power c1 is dimension of rho is kg per meter cube, so m1 l minus 3 to the power c1 into dimension of torque. So dimension of torque is m1 l2 t minus 2. Okay, after that equating the power of m, l and t. Okay, so first of all equating the power of m. So left side में क्या है? m to the power 0, so यहाँ पे आएगा 0. Okay, right side में m नहीं है, m is absent, so 0 a1 0 b1 then m to the power 1 whole to the power c1, so 1 c1, so it is simply c1. Then here m to the power 1, so plus 1, therefore c1 equals to minus 1. Then equating the power of l. Okay, so l to the power 0, so left side में 0 आएगा, that equals to l to the power a1, so a1. Okay, then here l is absent, so 0 b1. Okay, then here l to the power minus 3 whole to the power c1, so it is minus 3 c1, so minus 3 c1. Then here l to the power 2, so plus 2, so it is 0 equals to a1 minus 3 c1 plus 2. यहाँ पे c1 का वैल्यू पुट कर दो. Okay, and transfer this right side, so minus 3 will become plus 3, so it is plus 3 c1 minus 2. Okay, put the value of c1, so it is minus 3 into minus 1, so minus 3 minus 2, so it is minus 5. a1 is minus 5. Okay, then power of t. So power of t again we will equate, so it is t to the power 0, so 0. Here t is absent, here t to the power minus 1 b1, so it is minus b1. Okay, and here t is absent, here t to the power minus 2, so minus 2. So my b1 minus b1 minus 2. So transferring b1, so we will have b1 equals to minus 2. Okay, so the value of a1 is minus 5, c1 is minus 1, b1 is minus 2. Okay, so substituting this value, we will have pi1 equals to d to the power minus 5 n to the power minus 2 rho to the power minus 1 into t. Okay, so it is t upon d to the power 5 n square rho. ओके, सो यही हमने ऑलरेडी शॉर्टकट मेथड में भी देखा था कि हमारा I1 क्या आने वाला है. ओके, आफ्टर दैट similarly we will follow all the steps for calculating pi2. Okay, so pi2 equals to d to the power a2 n to the power b2 rho to the power c2 into mu. Okay, so putting the dimensions on left side and right side, so we will have m0 l0 t0, that equals to dimension of d is l, so l to the power a2, dimension of n is t to the power minus 1, so t to the power minus 1 whole to the power b2, into dimension of mass density rho is kg per meter cube, so m1 l minus 3 whole to the power c2. Okay, after that dimension of mu, absolute viscosity mu, I think सबको पता है, that is m1 l minus 1 t minus 1. Okay, so substituting the or equating the power of m, l and t. Okay, so first equation will be equating the power of m, so it is m to the power 0, so left side is 0, right side m is absent, so 0 a2, m is absent, so 0 b2, then m is present, so m to the power 1 whole to the power c2, so plus c2, and here m to the power 1, so plus 1, therefore c2 equals to minus 1. Then equating the power of l. Okay, so l to the power 0, so left side में 0 आ जाएगा. Okay, right side में l to the power a2, so plus a2, l absent, so 0 b2, l to the power minus 3 whole to the power c2, so minus 3 c2, then l to the power minus 1, so minus 1. So transferring 3 c2, sorry, a2 right side, sorry, this terms right side, so it is plus 3 c2 plus 1. Okay, then put the value of c2, so c2 is minus 1, so 3 into minus 1, so minus 3, so minus 3 plus 1, it is minus 2. Okay, after that next is equating the power of t, so equating the power of t on both sides, so t to the power 0, so left side में 0 हो जाएगा, right side में t is absent, so 0 a2, 0 sorry, here t to the power minus 1 whole to the power b2, so it is minus b2. Here t is absent, so plus 0 c2, then here t to the power minus 1, so minus 1, so b2 minus 1. Okay, so transfer b to right side, therefore b2 equals to 1 minus 1. Okay, so here a2 is minus 2, c2 is minus 1, and b2 is also minus 1. So putting this value, okay, of a2, b2 and c2 in pi2, so pi2 equals to d to the power minus 2 n to the power minus 1 rho to the power minus 1 into mu. Okay, so it will be mu upon d square and rho. Okay, so this is the value of pi1 and pi2. So we had calculated pi1 and pi2. Now our last step is establishing the relationship between pi1 and pi2. Okay, so we will have putting the value of pi1 and pi2 in equation. So we will have function of t upon d square d to the power 5 n square rho, comma mu upon d square n rho, that equals to 0. So we can write this function as any t upon d to the power 5 n square rho, that equals to any function of mu upon d square n rho. Okay, then we can multiply this d to the power 5 n square rho on right side. So we will have t equals to d to the power 5 n square rho into function of mu upon d square n rho. Okay,